You sleep on a surface before you sleep under covers. That order mattered for most of history. Early beds were rigid frames with rope lattices stretched tight. Hemp and flax ropes crossed in a grid. Each night the sleeper felt firm support with slight give. The sound was a low creak when weight shifted. Tightening the ropes was routine. The phrase "sleep tight" came from this act. As ropes aged, they sagged. Households corrected this by adding a sacking layer. Coarse linen or burlap spread across the lattice. The texture scratched the fingers. It blocked drafts from below. It reduced pressure points. The bed stayed warmer. Mattresses came later, and they were thin. Straw chaff or dried reeds filled ticking fabric. The weight was light. The smell was clean and grassy. Straw compressed fast, so it was turned often. This prevented hollows. The firmness kept the spine straight. Feather beds existed, yet they were controlled. Feathers sat atop a firm base, not alone. Without restraint, they swallowed the body. Period advice warned against sinking too deep. People layered feathers over straw. This created lift and insulation. You felt warmth without loss of support. Bedding weight, actually mattered more than softness. Wool blankets dominated because, wool breathed. It held heat, even when damp, which was really important. The surface felt springy, not slick at all. Linen sheets touched the skin, and linen stayed cool and dried fast. Cotton was rare back then, and the sound of linen was just a faint rustle. Blankets were size small and tucking was tight. This, you see, limited air gaps so heat stayed close. Multiple thin layers replaced one heavy cover. Adjustments were precise. Remove one layer, not all. Pillows were not plush, not at all. They were bolsters filled with chaff or horsehair. The height was modest, with neck alignment coming first. The firmness prevented collapse. Sleepers would turn the pillow end to end, allowing fresh air to pass through. The bed stood away from the wall. This reduced damp and pests, Air moved freely. Walls held cold. Bed curtains solved this. Heavy wool serge hung from a tester frame. At night, the space became still. Breath warmed the pocket. Morning light filtered through fabric. Room design served sleep. Bedrooms were small. Ceilings were low. Heat stayed near the body. Fireplaces warmed earlier, then died. Thermal mass lingered. The quiet after embers settled was complete. Floors mattered. Stone pulled heat away. Rugs and rush mats insulated feet. Beds sat on wooden platforms. Elevation avoided cold air. The sensation was immediate when stepping down. Windows were managed, not sealed. Shutters closed at dusk and curtains blocked drafts. At dawn, shutters opened wide, letting fresh air replace the stale air. Night air was valued, but only when it was dry. Moist air, on the other hand, was carefully avoided. Daily habits really shaped comfort. Bedding was aired each morning, with sheets draped over rails. Sunlight helped kill odor, and mattresses were stood on edge. The room smelled clean, which reduced damp and mites. Sleep schedules, they followed the light. Early bedtimes were common, and 2 sleeps were actually normal. There was a first sleep, then a waking period, and then a second sleep. During that waking time, people might read or pray. The body cooled and then rewarmed. This cycle, it improved rest. Clothing, really mattered in bed. Nightshirts were usually made of linen. They were loose and long, designed that way for comfort. They wickered moisture away from the body. There were no tight waistbands to bother you in the night. Sometimes folks would wear socks on their feet, but heads stayed uncovered. All of this was to avoid overheating. These days, modern rooms tend to trap heat and, well, stale air, but you can actually borrow some of that older logic. Start with the base. Choose a firm mattress or maybe add a rigid layer beneath what you already have. Try to reduce excessive foam. Support, honestly, comes first. Layer bedding with intent. Use wool or wool blends, yeah. Choose linen sheets. Add thin blankets, not just one heavy duvet. Tuck them well and, adjust one layer at a time. Control the air, vent briefly before sleep, then close curtains tight after. Keep the bed off exterior walls. If possible, use a rug underfoot. These small changes, honestly, shift comfort fast. Adopt the morning ritual. Air the bed. Pull covers back and let light in. This extends bedding life and, well, improves sleep quality. These practices cost little. They rely on physics and habit, firm support, controlled air, breathable fibers. The body responds. Try one change tonight. Observe the difference. Share this with someone who struggles to sleep. Subscribe for more grounded history you can use.